Hi there, I'm Ron Hagan, and we're with Commercial Fleet Export at the Mid-America Trucking Show in Louisville, Kentucky in March of 2010. Who am I talking to? And tell me who you are and what product do we got that's going to make the trucking and the drivability a little bit better.
Okay, I'm Chris Gamble, President and CEO of Balance Masters. We're located in Northridge, California. We actually manufacture the only active Driveshaft balancing system on the market. It's a simple product. It actually mounts at one end or the other of the Driveshaft to keep it in balance all the time. What this does, it actually helps keep the grease on the shaft, the bearing or carrier bearing or universal joint cool, which keeps the grease in a solid state at the bearing. That helps extend the life of the Driveshaft. It's essentially a very simple product. All we need to know is the diameter or circumference of the Driveshaft. And that tells us what diameter of balancer you're actually going to be using in this instance. It would be a 3.5-inch Driveshaft. Essentially, you drop one end of the shaft, you'll mount the rubber tube that holds the balancing material in the balancer on one end or the other of the shaft. Then you'll mount the clamping assembly to that to hold it in place. Then again, what this is going to do is designed to not only balance the shaft, but also keep the grease cool, which keeps the grease located on the bearing surface. Okay? Very important.
Now on a drive shaft, you only use one end.
Yes, you can either mount it up close to the carrier bearing assembly or at the opposite end of the shaft. You will then again only use one balancer. If you put two on the shaft, they will actually fight each other, trying to compensate for the imbalance. Then again, this can extend the life of the shaft at a point where you don't have a catastrophic failure out on the road someplace. Chances are your viewers have probably seen sections of shaft laying around on a road where some poor devil had a really bad day. The balancer can actually help with a fairly steep angle on a drive shaft in that it's actually balancing at that angle.
Okay.
Where a lot of things that are manufactured, they're only intended to balance in a straight plane. Mounting it on a drive shaft that's at a little bit more of an extreme angle, it can actually help a great deal in keeping it in balance at that angle.
Now this will fit cars and trucks and...
Yes, we manufacture them everywhere from 2-inch diameter up to, I believe, 4 3/4, 5 inches, something like that.
So we could put these things on race cars?
Yes. They would work very well on a car, especially in the fact that the balancer is actually balancing while it's running.
Okay.
Which is unusual compared to balancing on a machine. You're only good for one speed. This can maintain balance at whatever speed you're driving at.
Okay. And what sort of price range is the retail on this thing?
Retails anywhere from probably $65 to about $95, depending on the diameter of the balancer itself.
Okay.
We do offer a lifetime warranty on it, so if at any time you ever think you have a problem with the balancer, it's easy to check to see if you do or not. It does involve removing the balancer from the drive shaft. To install it, you're going to have to drop one end of the shaft or the other to actually install the balancer. So it'll take a little bit of work, but it's not really that much.
Okay. Well, what else is good around Balance Masters today?
We actually have a new balancing system that was developed for Pittsburgh Power here a couple of years back to actually balance the front of the engine on most of these big diesel truck engines. Unlike the dampener that comes on the truck to begin with from the factory, this is a balancing system. Dampeners are not balancers, and balancers are not dampeners. The new balancing system developed for Pittsburgh Power is intended to balance the engine, take the vibration that it can off of the bearing assembly, therefore extending the life of the engine.
So they're no longer working on that end of that crankshaft is no longer working on the bearings and seals.
Exactly.
And eating them up faster.
Exactly. It's actually taking what's called an ultrasonic range of vibration off of it. Because it is a liquid system, it has the ability to absorb that energy and redistribute it evenly, so it no longer hits in any one spot, causing wear.
Okay. What about wheels?
We do manufacture them. We have manufactured wheel balancers for wheel assemblies for the last, since 1979. This would be an active system for a 3/4 ton, 1 ton dually. The balancing materials in the outer edge of the balancer itself. They are multiple hole patterns, so they'll fit a multiple size of stud and different types of vehicles. They also come with louver systems in them to help draw and force feed cool air over the brake assembly. When you get them, they're tagged as road and curbside. That's because we will reverse that louver for the opposite side.
Oh, okay. And you just use one on each side?
Yes, they come as a set or per axle. That one balancer, they do not require pre-balancing. It's real simple. If you have wheel weights on now, you remove the weights, you install a balancer and drive.
Wow.
Let the balancer do all the work.
Wow, that's amazing. What else is good?
Well, there's a lot of other systems that we manufacture for things like Harley, clutches, engines, wheels, aircraft props and engines, experimental. We are in the process of coming out with a new line of vehicle wheel that actually has the balancer incorporated in the rim itself. This will allow the user to just buy a tire, put it on the rim, and never have to balance the wheel. You can just take off and drive, and it'll keep him in balance all the time.
Now I know about a year ago or so, you and I were talking about balancing the flywheel on a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, we've been doing ultralight aircraft, experimental aircraft, Rotax engines, Bombardier engines for years, and we're finding that we can actually balance any type of engine with either a bolt-on application or it can be machined into the flywheel.
That's what you were talking about with me, with that.
Exactly.
we had a lightweight flywheel.
Yes. We have them as a bolt-on item on a lot of things like that. It's probably easier to do a bolt-on item in that you don't actually have to machine into the flywheel. We just take separate the transmission or assembly from the flywheel. We would bolt it on to the bolt pattern of the flywheel and then just drive.
It's just a matter of how much space we got in that area.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, and we will expect to see you on YouTube worldwide.
Thank you very much.